trying to get some of the debris you're going to naturally get in the stone industry. We're trying to keep that out from the motor. And it's a super simple thing to do is just to take one screw loose, the whole cap comes off, and then what we're going to do is use compressed air with the air nozzle and blow that area out. So I'll show you how you get into it. And it really doesn't matter which model it is. It could be the stone polisher or the grinder. They both have the same screw. The only thing I'll tell you on the stone polisher you want to do, other than just taking the cap off, just take that little knuckle right there, that little joint, take that loose. That'll allow this to stay on this side, and then it'll slide the whole assembly off that way. A little self-tapping screw here, so that way they don't come loose from the vibration of the tool. Just that simple. Now where debris is going to load up on these is, we changed the design over this years ago. It used to be grinders would pull air in from the front and blow to the back and everything would pile up here. Well now these, they actually pull air from the back, blow it out the front, so most of your debris is getting blown away from the machine before it even gets to the air ventilation. But what we're trying to do, it's going to come through these vents and it's going to start packing up around these little brushes here. You can actually see there's a set of carbon brushes here that make contact with the motor. What we want to do is blow the debris out of those brush holders. Show you. There's one brush holder, there's the other. And what we're trying to do is just keep the debris from collecting around here, because what will eventually happen is that granite dust will get into these little tubes and hold the brush back. And that's where you hear the guy, oh, this thing arcs. It's arcing because that brush isn't making full contact with those little bars in there. So we want to blow all that out. Blow it out. And as I said, it depends. You know, everybody asks you, how often do I do that? It depends on what environment you're in. If you're in an environment where it's really dusty and you got a lot of debris flying around, you're going to have to blow them out more often than you will be if you're out, you know, and you have a clean environment. You know, a screwdriver or even a little driver drill, it takes you seconds, you know. Less than a minute, you're back in there, you're blowing that out, and then you're on to the next one. And basically, this is where we want to blow the material out. It's not going to help you blowing in here, because that's just going to push everything back. Just blow in around the motor and the brushes to keep that from, you know, hanging open the brush holder. And this only goes back one way. There's a little slot there for the variable speed. Is that easy? Here it is. It's real simple. This is the gear drive that you have that comes off your motor. When those brushes engage, this motor starts spinning. And then there's a little coil spring. You see that little coil there? What will happen is when you lock this up, there's no immediate connection between this shaft and this gear except for that coil spring. It's a real wound up tight coil. So what happens when you put a load on this, like, you know, lock it up, it'll actually unwind that gear and allow this to spin freely. The gear will spin freely on the shaft, and when you let off of it, it'll rewind, recoil, and then re-engage. So it's that simple. And that kind of protects not only the gear, protects the motor, protects the user from getting some kickback. We can't say to eliminate kickback, but it definitely reduces kickback. So it's a kind of a three-part feature there. See how it sprays out right when these two gears engage? The only thing you have is a very light film of grease that's going to stay on the gears anyway. What happens as this starts heating up though, that grease starts moving around the housing and hitting the other gears. If you put too much grease in it, you're going to have problems, because I hate telling people to re-grease these if they don't know how much grease should be in them, because if you over-grease it, it creates too much friction, because it's always in between the gear teeth, because they're very close tolerance, and you don't want too much in there because it's going to heat up the head even more. You put too little, then it doesn't circulate around and work the way you want it. So that's why we really try to get that to an authorized factory service center when you change the grease up, so we know exactly the amount of ounces to go in there.